Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. We begin with security matters. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that government is doing its best to bring insecurity in the country to the barest minimum, as security forces have been given a clear order not to spare any terrorist. This was during the president's visit to Sultan Sa'ad Abubakar at his palace in Sokoto. Alhaji Abdullahi reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the Sultan that he is deeply worried about the insecurity, especially in the northwest. Muhammadu Buhari recalled the situation in the northeast when he came into power, saying things have changed now. President Buhari said the situation in the northwest is alarming.
We are going to do our best, and the military and law enforcement agencies have been given a clear order that they shouldn't spare any bandit or any terrorist. Inshallah, we are going to hand over a secure country better than we inherited.
He called on traditional leaders to assist the security forces
with the House in adopting a motion
crimes in the society. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar said, as traditional leaders, they will continue to support and assist political leaders to succeed. Sultan Sa'ad, who described the insecurity facing the country as alarming, particularly appreciated the president's assurances for a more secured nation. Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad commended federal government's AMCO Broa program, which he said will guarantee food security in the nation.
We are still doing a lot by offering prayers for you as our leader to succeed and leave this country a much, much better one than you met it, as you have always said.
Special prayers were offered for God's intervention on the security challenges facing the country. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Away from security matters, the House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of the recently introduced guidelines on import and export. The sudden implementation, the House believes, will result in distortion of prices of goods and services, cause congestion at ports and delay transactions. The House, in adopting a motion from Representative Leke Abejide, also invited the Central Bank Governor to appear before the Committee on Customs and Excise and brief it on how it intends to implement the guideline without it affecting the 3.1 trillion naira revenue target of the Nigeria Customs Service. The House advised 90 days grace period be given before implementation of subsequent fiscal or monetary policy to enable adjustment and economic stability.
Abuja Link Bridge project, which has been conceived more than 20 years ago. Musa Toliat reports.
The increasing commercial activities along Okwebi in Ikeja Central Business District attracts high density of vehicular movement, which in turn triggers incessant traffic gridlock in the axis. Though conceived more than 20 years ago, the plan to channel traffic through a link bridge from Okwebi to Ojota is a conscious and deliberate move by the Lagos State government to address the perennial traffic and improve ease of doing business on the mainland.
The available road infrastructure that links these axes are also limited in its connectivity and options. Thus, during peak hours, high traffic volume within this axis usually congests into Ikeja traffic gridlock. And we're doing this with sectional overlay, ensuring that we can indeed bring about extensive patching.
The 3.89-kilometer bridge is expected to start from Okwebi U-turn and span all the way to Odoyala Road Bridge and adjoining roads in Ojota New Garage along Ikorodu Road.
The design concept for this project has been holistically and collaboratively done between the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure and the Ministry of Transport, so as to provide not only an infrastructure solution, but also a transport solution that ensures value and relief for the motoring public.
As Oliver Twist, we wish to remind you of your promise to expand Bega Omole Road.
Okwebi-Ojota Link Bridge, described as a legacy project, is expected to be completed in 20 months. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
You're still watching the network. You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Remember, you can follow this news live online on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, on Facebook, Network News, and on your YouTube channel, NTA Live. Let's take a short break. The news continues shortly with Dibabari in Port Harcourt.
The ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
NTA TV College invites candidates who selected the institution as their first choice in the 2021-2022 JAMB Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and obtained a minimum score of 180 for screening. Also invited are direct entry candidates who selected the college as their first choice. Date, Saturday, 29th January 2022. Time, 8 a.m. Venue, NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Screening fee, 2,000 Naira only. Payment should be done through remitter platform only in favor of NTA Television College. All candidates are to come along with their original credentials. Registrar, Announcer.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
I know that in the last decade, this country has been at different wars trying to keep the peace and promote the sovereignty and the integrity of the country. The troops are doing their best. The president has given them all the necessary tools. It is left for us as young people and as Nigerians to give them all the support we can. We say kudos to all our gallant military men. Please, whenever you see a police officer in or out of uniform, if you know them, clap for them whenever they need be. Give them seats in buses and trains and airplanes. Have the airline managers reduce air tickets for them or train tickets for them. Show them that we appreciate what they do and show their families that there is something right and honorable and truly remarkable about wearing a uniform and going into the bushes and the forest to fight enemies of this country that are hell-bent in bringing your life to an end. It's a very tough time, but we have to all put our hands together. Please support our troops and support our police officers.
Port Harcourt. The Special Intelligence Squad of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has confiscated several oil trucks and arrested suspects involved in the illegal oil deal in Rivers State. Robinson Data reports that some local government areas are also handing over exhibits to the command.
more breakthroughs have been recorded in the renewed fight against oil bunkering in Rivers State to curtail environmental hazards as well as economic sabotage. Following the allegation against some security agencies on their involvement in illegal oil bunkering, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Howde, disbanded the anti-vandal unit of the Rivers State Command and constituted a special intelligence squad. The squad arrested 15 suspects linked to illegal oil deals and confiscated 6 trucks and a bus loaded with illegally refined diesel.
The fight against vandalism of the critical national assets and infrastructure, as well as oil thieves in this part of the country, is an ongoing task, and which will not be stopped until the state is rid of this particular set of people.
2 out of the trucks were handed over to the command by the MOA Local Government Council.
This is to also encourage those out there, the residents in the state, to collaborate with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in the fight to bring this particular nefarious act to a standstill in the state, as being mandated by the Commandant General.
NNCDC is urging authorities in charge of arrest of oil thieves not to relent, as suspects will be brought to book. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Teratede, NTA News.
A sensitization and awareness campaign for the liquefied petroleum gas adoption and expansion project has been held in Yanagwa. The campaign is part of efforts to engage Bayelsa State towards sustainable socio-economic growth. Fred Welfare reports.
Bayelsa is among the 12 states earmarked for the National Expansion and Implementation Plan on liquefied petroleum gas by the federal government, considering its large deposit of gas. The enormous benefit of LPG cuts across different sectors of the economy. These include power, transportation, agriculture, manufacturing, and household consumption. When implemented, over 5 million cylinders are expected to be injected by the federal government into the 12 approved states. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Jiri, represented by his deputy Senator Lawrence Erujakbo, stressed that the LPG expansion project will provide over 5,000 jobs in the sector.
Today, LPG is the optimal and cleanest option among the fossil fuels. In the coming years, an assortment of innovations will render the use of LPG smarter and more efficient.
This plan, according to the federal government, is projected to provide opportunities for businesses, creation of jobs, and decarbonization of the environment by 20%.
With over 6 million cars in the world now running on LPG, stakeholders affirm that maximum participation in the expansion and implementation plan of the federal government will be cost-effective. Fred Wefie, NTA News.
Fred Wefie, NTA News. We are done here. Is back to Najatu for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dibabari. We're talking transport matters now. Fuel scarcity has persisted in areas of the Federal Capital Territory, with more queues being seen at different filling stations in parts of the FCT. Let's join Oyeyemi Ajayi, who visited some areas to observe the situation.
Gudu Market, and the situation here is not in any way different to many other filling stations in the FCT. Queues piled up in order for motorists to get their fuel, moving around to different places, different locations. We got to today, some of the filling stations could be seen not dispensing fuel because they claim that they do not have fuel, but at some other places we could see them dispensing.
After 5, yeah, that is when we open the station. And since before we open, there is a lot of queue there, but we are trying to supply it since we are trying our best. Once we start, we don't stop until it's finished.
Ibrahim Mohammed is the manager at the NMPC station at Gudu. He says part of the reasons for the queues experienced is due to the inconsistent supply of fuel, which has caused some filling stations not to have.
The more they supply us, that's how we sell it. Understand? Sometimes we get delay from the supply. That is from depot. You understand? Yeah? So when they supply us, we are going to sell it. And when you see the queue there, admitting the fuel is being supplied regularly, all this queue will not be there.
Some of the motorists spoken with said there is a relief in accessing fuel when compared to the previous day when it was tough to get to their turns.
As of today it's much easier than yesterday.
How was it yesterday?
Yesterday it was so hectic. If you come to filling station, you cannot even get fuel for you same hours.
Well, it's not really easy to some other filling stations. They are keeping their fuel. They are waiting when the fuel would go up.
I still wonder why there's scarcity in the town. But outside the Abuja, there's no scarcity. I just come back from Lokoja.
It was noticed that the pump price at the filling stations visited remained between 162 and 165 naira per litre. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
And Oyeyemi now joins us live from Area 11 to give us the latest on the fuel situation in the FCT. Hello, Oyeyemi.
All right, thank you very much.
Now, compared to what you observed
Thank
earlier,
you very much. Precisely at the Area 11 filling station at the Asman Oil and Gas, we could see some queues still persisting at the different places, and it could be said that the queue is still on, but that doesn't take out the fact that some of the stations have had their filling stations shut, maybe due to the fact that there are no fuels at the area, while some also are actually on dispensing fuel precisely at this Asma Oil and Gas. And with me here is one of the attendants.
Go ahead, Oyeyemi. One of the attendants. Go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead. We seem to have lost that connection there. We'll probably rejoin Oyeyemi when we sort out the technical hitches. Now, still on petroleum, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has revoked 33 out of the 161 licenses issued to awardees of the 2020 Marginal Oil Field bid exercise. The Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Benga Komolafe, says the decision was taken due to the failure of awardees to pay their signature bonuses. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Oil fields or smaller oil blocks exclusively licensed to indigenous companies to operate. A deliberate policy decision by the federal government to encourage local operators. 57 fields were off for bidding in 2020. 665 companies bidded. 161 were selected, raking in 174 billion naira to the federal government account.
So the PIA provides some legal governance.
New Petroleum Industry Act, new policies. Time to discuss the changes to rapidly eat the first oil. But some awardees will not see the first oil.
Basically, the marginal bid round specified a time space, duration of 45 days for the payment of the signature bonus. And we actually observed that some of the awardees actually failed to make payment within this time space. And have 33 awards that were not paid for which they did not furnish consideration, and those awards have come back to the basket.
While the government takes such decisive measure, the awardees with clean bill of health also need some policy adjustment.
We were never consulted as to who we want to pair with in a feed. It was the Commission's discretion that people were put in feed, and therefore I see this as, okay, you brought partners together, it's like a forced marriage, and you are now saying that they must produce children. If there is no cooperation, how will that happen?
The awardees have been offered the award, and they accepted. They went ahead to furnish consideration, that is, they made payments. So in that respect, it means they've accepted the model that was used in the conduct of the exercise.
For the Upstream Commission, All administrative and operational issues must be addressed promptly for the companies to move to the fields. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Thank you, May. Now we'll rejoin Oyeyemi to give us all the latest on the fuel situation in the FCT. Over to you, Oyeyemi.
All right, good evening. We are actually at the area 11 area of the FCT, precisely in front of our Asman filling station. Taking back to what happened earlier when we went to different places, we could see some of the filling stations dispensing fuel and motorists going on in Decoron to get to purchase the fuel. Likewise, some other filling stations were seen to be locked, not dispensing fuel. But at this Asman filling station, they are dispensing fuel at the moment, and at the same time, queues are actually on. We could see vehicles coming in freely to get the fuel. And with me here is one of the team leaders of the Asman filling station, Mr. Salisu. Good evening, Mr. Salisu.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. What can you say about the movement in terms of movement of vehicles to your stations, and how are you dispensing fuel?
Right now, I'm telling Nigeria that they should calm down. A truck just left here a couple of hours ago, and as I finished discharging, I started selling. So by God's grace, from now till evening, till tomorrow morning, by God's grace, this queue you are seeing here will disappear. And I'm also thanking God for the NNPC. They are the one who normally to support this area 11 filling station by supplying us the product. They are trying, so they should keep on, because the so-called marketers right now, they are complaining that what they are selling, they are not achieving enough. They have been complaining that they should allow them to increase at the pump.
In terms of the pump price among us, how much are you selling your fuel?
Right now, I am selling the product at the rate of 165 per liter. So thank God, Mr. President has agreed to subsidize the product till 18 good months. So Nigeria should come down for now.
At some filling stations, you could see that some people, some of the fuel stations, they are closing and maybe later opening the fuel. Is it the same? Opening the stations, is it the same thing as yours here?
What is happening is that the marketers, as I earlier said, they are complaining that they are not gaining enough. So it's less for the NNPC to be monitoring them. If they give them product from the depot, they should continue monitoring them so that they make sure they discharge the product and sell to the masses at the normal price.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for now. More details will be dished out to you as we go on to different places.
Thank you, Oyeyemi. We'll be expecting more updates. Let's now join Salamatu in our Kaduna Network Center for more stories on Nationwide.
Najatu, and a warm welcome to Kaduna. The Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force Major General Abdul Khalifa says overcoming security challenges bedeviling the country requires collective resolve of armed forces to work in harmony and a common goal of defeating enemies. He was speaking at this year's Land Force Seminar at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. Suleiman Ragachkun reports.
Nigerian Army has been in the forefront in executing war against terror in the country. This makes it compelling to review their outings for enhanced performance.
Nigerian Army mostly bears
achieving the mandate of operational efficiency of the Nigerian Army in multi-agencies environment. Tactical level commanders are participating at 44 senior course of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, which provides platform for cross-fertilization of ideas among them. Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Abdul Khalifa's paper brings participants up to speed, perspective for effective synergy in confronting enemies.
The expectation is that they should do well anytime they are deployed in the field, because this lecture is part of the preparation to make them very versatile officers in the future.
Lesson they will have learned from this kind of seminar, they will be expected to put them into practice in the field.
The seminar is first of its kind, organized for Army participants of senior course in the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. Suleiman Rigachkun, NTA News.
In order to foster peace, Kaduna State government has tasked religious and community leaders in southern Kaduna to take full possession of peace and security by complementing government's efforts in restoration of peace in the area. This can be done through constant dialogue among diverse communities and amicable resolutions of disputes. Haruna Muhammad reports that this is part of resolutions of an emergency meeting in Atiap Chiefdom in Zangon Katap local government area.
The peace meeting is convened at the instance of Kaduna State government to address some nocturnal issues tend to breach peace and security in the area. One of the issues brought to the table is herders and farmers' sore relationship, which cause constant clashes.
As community leaders, as traditional rulers, as security personnel, as security managers, we must be frank. We must put emotions aside. We must not be biased. You must look at the human being as your priority first, without recourse to faith, ethnicity, color.
Representatives of various interest groups are of the opinion that lasting solution to peace in the area is that people must resort to the restoration of law and order.
The hands of the clock have been pulled backwards in many areas. In the area of education, many schools here have closed. Farming activities have been badly affected, equally affected. As you can see, the Zango market here has been out of existence for the past 6 months or more.
The meeting advocates the establishment of military base for quick response to an emergency situation in one of the danger zones.
The meeting ended up with all sides agreeing for continuous campaign for peace and continuous engagement of all communities. From Agwan Atiap Palace, I am Haruna Muhammad.
And that is it from Kaduna. Is back to Najatu in Abuja.
Of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College Short Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Computer Appreciation for Media Practitioners. Date 21st February to 28th February 2022. 1 week. English Grammar and Pronunciation for Broadcasters. Date 1st March to 25th March. 4 weeks. Administrative Principles, Processes and Practices. Date 11th March to 31st March 2022. 4 weeks. Modern Trends in Broadcast Media Marketing. Date 14th March to 13th April 2022. 4 weeks. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 4th April to 19th April 2022. 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1 week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2 week course is 150,000 naira, while the course fee for the 4 week course is 180,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosport. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
It's nice to know you're still watching Nationwide. Reshaping the collective destiny of womenfolk in the interest of all Nigerians is a task the National Center for Women Development says it is passionate about. This much has been demonstrated in Kano, where women and youth addicted to illicit drugs have been rescued and put on the path of prosperity. Yohana Suhassan reports.
The state was until recently ranked by World Health Organization as the state with the highest number of drug dealers and users in the country. Sustained multi-stakeholder interventions through robust strategies have substantially improved the situation as the commercial hub now dropped down the ladder, taking the 6th position. The National Center for Women Development is also lending its support in this direction and has so far succeeded in rehabilitating and empowering 80 addicted youth across the state. Khadija Mahmood and Mariam Ahmed are among the rescued and rehabilitated illicit drug users who said their stay at the Kiru Rehabilitation Center has reshaped their destiny greatly. Before then, Khadija was into consumption of assorted dangerous drugs.
I really enjoy my stay at the rehabilitation center. I thank the government for changing my life.
They are now trained caterers, tailors, and designers and have grasped sewing machines and refrigerators alongside 20,000 naira each to start their businesses.
Some of them are dropouts, some of them are housewives, they are just not coordinated. So we decided to teach them skills so that they can better their lives. And I'm happy we have been here for the past 1 week, teaching them catering and teaching them tailoring. If they hold on to this trade, I'm sure it's going to change their lives.
While in Kano, the Director General was also at the residence of late Hanifa Abubakar to condole with the family on behalf of the First Lady and the entire women in Nigeria. She said government will do all it can to ensure justice for late Hanifa. She also paid homage to the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, and solicit his support. In Kano, Yohana Suhassan, NTA News.
Towards ensuring transparency and technology-driven pension services, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, has continued to organize stakeholder meetings across the country as well as launch new initiatives. Nafisa Umar Garba reports.
The engagement forum by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, aimed at enlightening stakeholders on activities and welfare of pensioners through launching of the I Am Alive confirmation pilot test across the 6 geopolitical zones. It is also to test run the convenience and accuracy of the link and get feedback from the enrolled pensioners.
This is to take away the field verifications we've been carrying out over the years, which not only is it stressful for the pensioners, it's not very safe. A lot of them have to travel long distances before they get to our verification centers. It's also expensive, both for the pensioners and for government. So we're looking at something convenient.
Participants commended PTAD for the initiative, which they say will checkmate challenges of field verification exercises.
With this one that they have shown us, we stay in the comfort of our home and then we do verification, and I'm Alive is the best way.
When we heard from the ES, that is Mama Pension, we heard what she said and her members, her directors. In fact, we are very comfortable.
Participants were drawn from across the Northeast sub-region. Nafisa Umar Garba, NTA News.
The Nigeria Customs Service says it is working towards providing scanners at every point of entry into the country. Coinciding with the 2022 International Customs Day, the Comptroller General of Service, Hamid Ali, says it will complement the quest to scale up trade facilitation and boost revenue generation. Kunle Adeyeye reports.
Of new scanners for Lagos and on airports, but Nigeria Customs Service last year is already addressing some logistic bottlenecks in trade facilitation and aiding the fight against insecurity. The service, which facilitated 858,843 transactions in 2021, is now strategizing to achieve more this year using the Nigeria Integrated Customs Information System.
The e-custom that we are hopefully going to launch this year will provide 135 scanners in all our borders, which that means airports, seaports, land borders will have effective and very adequate scanners for us to be able to do our own, carry on our own trade facilitation and inspection of goods. So it's our hope that in the next 2 years, there will be no entrance or exit that we will not have scanners for the purpose of our examination.
On the issue of giving premium to revenue generation over trade facilitation, Customs is unequivocal that they are intertwined. The Customs boss equally disclosed that the service has a revenue target of 3.1 trillion naira for the year. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
Meanwhile, under Nigerian law, the treatment and care of gunshot victims are obligations which should be carried out by medical personnel in healthcare facilities, as contained in the Compulsory Treatment and Care for the Victims of Gunshots Act of the National Assembly 2017. In this special report, Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk examines these rights.
The sanctity of human life. Right to life is one of the bundles of rights enshrined in Section 33 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. If not for few exceptions, right to life is part of the rights that are unbrogable. To further ensure that this right is protected, the National Assembly enacted the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshots Act 2017.
Rights of a gunshot victim has been shortchanged over the years, and that is why in 2017 the act to protect that right was actually promulgated, if I will use that word.
Under this act, victims of gunshot are expected to be treated by medical facilities and personnel first without any financial deposit. The law expects medical facilities or medical personnel to report to the police within 24 hours after stabilizing the victims and informing the relatives of the victims also within 24 hours if his identity is known.
The law requires is to save the life first, and it is compulsory for such facilities to immediately take the victim and attend to him.
Section 1. Every victim of gunshot wound must be treated immediately. The hospital need not wait, in fact must never wait for police report before treating him. They should not even consult police before treating him.
And so the law also protects the volunteer, that the volunteer cannot be harassed, and the volunteer will always have his way, with by way of having the victim received and treated.
Some of the legal practitioners who spoke with NTA News spotted two defects in the law.
But the fact that nothing was said, the hospital that has received such a victim and has treated such a victim, nothing is said about a payment of medical bills.
Respondents are of the opinion that the moment these defects are cured through the ongoing amendment of the Act, loss of lives of victims of gunshot due to lack of treatment will be minimized. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
As Nigeria launches the 5G network expected to be 10 times faster than the existing 4G network, ICT experts are advising government to prioritize requisite training for Nigerian youths to encourage competition in the world of artificial intelligence. Ekimini Williams has all the details as discussed on Good Morning Nigeria.
Nigeria with faster internet connectivity, where artificial intelligence will play a greater role in the interface with appliances and applications. These are some of the promises the 5G network holds over the 4G network currently in use in Nigeria.
You could literally be in Abuja and control an equipment in Burkina Faso.
The impact is going to be in numbers. So the area we prepare for it, the better for us.
Experts on the program say, while looking forward to the gains, there are challenges that must be looked into, which include possible interference with existing technology as well as equipment sourcing.
A lot of concern by airlines that the 5G signal interferes with the radio altimeters, which aircraft use below 1,000 meters when they are coming into land, and it tells the pilot how high the plane is off the ground. You know, it's not something you would want to miscalculate. The second area of concern comes back to the providers of equipment. 50% of all handsets are from one country, China. But in terms of the network infrastructure, 70% is from one country, China. But I think from especially a broader national security perspective, dependency on one country. Now, you may be using different companies from that country, but the day you and that country have a disagreement, there are issues.
There are certain national security-based information, it keep them local. But then, while encryption is improving, you can keep the rest there, but for certain sensitive information, you keep them local.
Appropriate education and knowledge that is required to function in the digital space. So even our policies will have to be up to date. Our skills will have to be up to date because a lot of skills are going to go.
They insist on reorientation of the Nigerian populace as well as development of the skill set of youths in line with the demands of the global market. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
From prompt service and professionalism to friendly posture of staff, the National Identification Management Commission has received a commendable nod from Servicom for quality service delivery. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
The Servicom is saddled with the responsibility of evaluating service charter of ministries, departments and agencies of government. A survey carried out by Servicom across the 20 registration centers of the National Identity Management Commission reviewed a secured, friendly centers got commendation for working till late hours and adequate sensitization of their mandate.
Some customers who prefer to track their applications from home said they could not do so on NIMSI portal as used to be. Network of most centers visited was fluctuating. As a result, there was delay. So what ran through was delay in the process.
It's a continuous thing. We agree that education and awareness is a continuous thing. We'll also continue to do that until when the last person is enrolled.
The signing and handing over of the evaluation report to the National Identity Management Commission is a sealed deal of acceptance to improve where Nigerians yearn for a better performance. In Abuja, Umeka Marachuku, NTA News.
To political matters now, a former member of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Bisi Kolawole, has emerged the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, ahead of the June 18 governorship election in Ekiti State. Kolawole beat his closest rival and former governor of the state, Segun Oni, at the primary which held in Ado Ekiti. Tayo Osho reports.
208 accredited voters from the 16 local government areas of the state cast their ballots to elect the party's candidate from the 10 aspirants who contested the primary, which was conducted by Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State-led election committee. Kolawole scored 671 votes, beating former Governor Segun Oni, who scored 330 votes, and the former Deputy Governor Olushola Ileka, who came third with 93 votes, as announced by the Chairman, Election Committee.
I hereby say that Olabisi Kolawole, having satisfied the provisions of the Constitution of our party, is hereby declared as the winner.
Bisi Kolawole said everybody is a winner and solicited the support of members to make the party victorious at the governorship poll, while Segun Oni congratulated the winner of the primary election.
And I want to commend all our leaders in PDP, all the people that contested with me. I won't take his leadership role too for granted.
I'm sure you guys are here. You saw it all. So I'm not complaining about anything.
However, Senator representing Ekiti South Senatorial District, Biodun Olujimi, pulled out of the governorship primary before the commencement of the election due to alleged irregularities. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA News.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the All Progressives Congress at a forum in Abuja have applauded support for the entertainment industry by stalwarts of the APC for Socio-Cultural and Economic Development. Salihu Gwanara reports.
Moments when music is a universal language that everyone understands, particularly amongst the politicians and their supporters. As critical partners in the political sojourn of the All Progressives Congress, political analysts believe that the entertainment industry has been part of the political history of the APC. This event is not only to say thank you for what they have done, but to encourage the sector to do more.
Really, and these people have contributed so much during the campaign. Both in 2015 and 2019, the various artists have produced songs and different kind of shows just to promote Baba.
And I also believe that for us to move forward as a country, as a government, we must support the entertainment industry. They are good ambassadors.
So for us, creating jobs is not really the magic letter that government gives out to people to say you have now been employed. Is to make them self-reliant, to make them self-sufficient.
One tradition that has been established by government of President Muhammadu Buhari is that of appreciating those that no other contributed to the development of the nation and then to the successes associated with the government.
So music is a universal language. So it helped me, it helped my family. I will increase my business.
It was a unanimous decision here that the sector under the current administration will be a tool for socio-economic development. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
500 rural dwellers in Udupani local government area of Cross River State have been enrolled in the second phase support of the Governor Ben Ayade Health Insurance Scheme across the state. The report.
Ayade Care has been described as a phenomenon which should be supported by the private sector. With their enrollment, beneficiaries of the scheme will no longer have to pay from their pockets to access health care in Cross River State.
Someone who thinks about the survival of other persons thought it wise to look beyond himself.
Without health, we all would not be here.
My papa will be governor of Cross River State. Where start this Ayade Care? You know what he tell me? He said, my son, Chris, the reason why you need to give out to people is not because you have enough, but it's because you care enough for the people.
If you go to a rural home, there's a lot of challenge in health. People cannot afford basic health care. We did for 500, we're doing for another 500, we're going to do for more 500. So we have it in stages and in phases.
Stakeholders are optimistic that the scheme, which cuts across the 18 local government areas of the state, will bridge the gap in health care delivery. In Calabar, Achibon Basi, NTA News.
Now, more young Nigerian inventors are exhibiting their talent in the manufacture of electric cars in line with the federal government's national automotive policy. The latest group of young inventors come from Borno State, and they presented a 100% fabricated electric car to the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC. That report will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, civil servants in Akwa Ibom State are gradually keen into the back-to-farm policy, a major agenda of the Buhari administration targeted at increasing food security in the country. Evelyn Baduekpo reports.
Ibom has for some time witnessed increased agricultural activities in areas of food, cash crops and livestock production. This is not far-fetched as the state government is prioritizing agriculture and providing different farming groups with the needed resources for cultivation. These efforts by government at all levels have encouraged many, including civil servants in Akwa Ibom State, to join in the food security policy of the government, thereby putting food on their tables.
There is hardly a crop, as I said, that cannot grow well in Akwa Ibom State.
It helps me. As I am a civil servant, you know, the little money we are earning cannot meet up all our needs. But I do help my family with that cucumber that I used to plant and do just a little sellings to make ends meet.
I plant a lot of things like cassava. Like now we are almost entering a planting time. I have maize. I'm planning to plant maize, vegetable, you know, all those things. Tomato. Like I'm working in Ministry of Agri. We have a lot of vegetables.
Although most of the civil servants are into subsistence agriculture, they wish to expand for commercial purposes.
On that part, I think everybody knows how things are costly now. So people need to plant. We need to go into excessive farming in the state.
Civil servants who look forward to the first planting season are hopeful that the support from government will help them in achieving a hitch-free planting season. In Uyo, Evelyn Baduekpo, NTA News.
Thank you, Evelyn. From the office to the farm. And up next is Sports Update.
AFCON action will return this